All right, let's see. The next question, what tools help you to manage your team remotely? Yeah, there's a lot of great tools that do this, so I'm going to back off and say, okay, it's not so much the tools, because there's a lot of tools that will, once you identify what it is you want to do, that will answer those. So I think it's much more important that you get I guess, what you want to do with your team and what you want to provide, or the structure, and then figure out how you're going to fill that gap. So one is communication, right? If it's a remote team, you need to be able to communicate well. And the tools I use for this is Slack and Loom. And I've found that those are the two best things. Slack, obviously, for communication back and forth. We can do written stuff. We could use Loom to record a screen flow or a process or something we need done. Put it into Slack, and then if someone's, across the world, way different time zones, they'll see it when they get to it. And then once a week we do just a kind of an all hands, not at the same time though, like an asynchronous all hands. I'll put out a quick video. Hey, this is what's going on this week. This is what we did last week. Here's what I'm up to personally. Maybe let people know what I'm doing, and then be like, okay, looking forward to hearing from you guys. And then the rest of the team, as they come online, they do their response to it. Same thing, they'll talk a little bit about what they're doing, what they're up to, any issues they're having, what's going on with them, anything personally they felt like sharing, and that way everyone stays in sync. All right, and that's using what can be potentially two free tools, which is, again, Slack and Loom. Really, really great tools. I pay for Loom. I went to Loom Pro so I can keep all my videos. I use it for a lot of process data on top of communication, so that was worthwhile for me. The other thing is having clear goals and expectations, okay? And this is not a tool, right, in the traditional sense. Like, you don't go buy a tool that gives you clear goals and expectations. But I think that having this down is more important than any tool you'll ever use. And let's go ahead and, though, say, let's have it in a tool. Then I would say Google Docs. Right? You could have a shared Google Doc that is not editable maybe by everyone, but you say, hey, this is, what we are. This is either the business, concept. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we do. Or you could even then break it down to the person or the job type. And, hey, for customer service, this is the expectations. These are the goals. This is what we, expect you to do, so that you have a standard to measure them against, as well for someone to uphold themselves to understand, hey, this is what really is expected of me. And like most people appreciate that and want to know what the expectations, what the goals are, what they can do. And then the way to go about doing part of that I've found to be very helpful was reading through Radical Candor. This book was recommended by several people on the podcast, Liam Martin of Time Doctor, and one other guest I can't recall right now. Sorry about that if you're watching this. And there's another person too, but we had several people recommend it. I sat down and read it this spring and really liked it. I like the idea, and basically to summarize it in a couple sentences, it's giving a shit about people and being upfront with them and straightforward, all right, and being honest and true in both of those areas. That, if you don't care about someone, you can't, just force the straightforwardness, all right? If you're doing that, you're just being obnoxious and being a jerk. But if you really care about people and you build that relationship, then you can find out how you can be very upfront with them, all right? And that doesn't just mean that once you've, asked them how their weekend was, you can just blast them and, tear them to pieces. That's not how it works. But the idea, again, is just building that relationship so that you can understand how to communicate better and get that going both ways. Found that to be very helpful. It's something I'm implementing with my team. It's taken time. I've been doing it with my project manager, and it can be super awkward sometimes to start. It feels a little bit, like you're, well, I want you to give me criticism, and I promise it'll be fine. But once you go through those things and actually see that, okay, this is working, people appreciate the feedback, and this is leading to better results, I think it just obviously proves itself. So I think that that's super important. So if to sum up, what tools help you to manage your team remotely, it's having good communication. All right, you can do that with things like Loom, with Slack. Having clear goals and expectations, having those written down somewhere instead of just kind of nebulous, here's what we expect, having some sort of goals and expectations, and then how to get to that point, having, something like Radical Candor, whether or not you use that book or another management technique, whatever it is that does it for you, but so that you can foster and build that relationship within your remote team. So thanks for watching. You can stay up to date by subscribing right there. If you'd like to come join our free Facebook group about process, automation, productivity, all that good stuff, you can do that right there. Just answer the few quick questions and you'll be in.